Imagine this. The scorching July sun beats down on the dusty streets of Maitland in the Hunter Valley, New South Wales. Suddenly, a deafening roar shatters the quiet. Dozens of Harley engines thunder like enraged beasts, rolling in tight formation toward Horseshoe Bend. These aren't just riders. They're the Hells Angels, the Hell Zone enforcers, storming the sacred heart of the Gladiators Motorcycle Club. Doors smashed open, patches ripped from vests by force, threats that chill the blood. But what began as a brazen power grab erupted into literal flames, gunfire slicing the air, and a war no one saw coming. How did a century-old club, the very first outlaw outfit in Australia, hold the line and strike back? This is the story of the Hells Angels' downfall in Maitland, the day the Gladiators claimed victory in the fight for their legacy.
Holy!
Stick with me, because this isn't just a Bikie brawl. It's the raw clash of old-school grit against ruthless ambition that could set the entire outlaw motorcycle world ablaze. And if you're hooked on these gritty tales from the shadows, where loyalty is forged on blacktop and shattered by bullets, there's no better spot to dive deep than Crime Street. Hit that subscribe button and ring the bell right now. Every video is like hopping on a bike with no brakes, hurtling you toward the edge. And once you're in, you can't hit the brakes. Welcome to Crime Street, where the hidden truths roar to life. But let's rewind it, because to grasp this explosion, you need the roots. It all kicks off in 1960, on the gritty speedway tracks of Maitland, that tough industrial town in the Hunter Valley where engine roars were the heartbeat of existence. A bunch of mates, young rebels with wind in their blood, and a fierce disdain for society's change, gathered around some beat-up Harleys. They weren't chasing quick cash or spotlight. They craved something real. A brotherhood hammered out on the highway, far from the 9-to-5ers shackled to desks. That's how the Gladiators Motorcycle Club was born, Australia's inaugural one-percenter club, that badge of the outlaws who live beyond the law's reach. Sparked by the 1947 Hollister chaos, where a handful of riders turned a race into a mythic riot. These were hard men, local factory hands, speedway daredevils who knew every twist in the Hunter Valley roads like their own scar. Their clubhouse on Portland Street in Horseshoe Bend wasn't merely a building, it was a shrine, a fortress of black leather and embroidered patches featuring a gladiator gripping his sword, an emblem of their unbreakable creed, loyalty above all, or face the end. The Gladiators spread fast, sprouting chapters in Grafton and Gunnery, but Maitland stayed their unbreakable core. They've weathered it all. The 2014 police raids under Strikeforce Mina, when cops tore through their HQ hunting amphetamines and found only echoes of defiance amid the rubble. Back in 2012, their president, Frank Vandercroft, took 4 bullets to the torso but rose from Cessnock Hospital, stable and snarling that gladiators don't fold. They were the trailblazers, schooling Australia's outlaw Bikie scene that freedom's won with fists and full throttles. But time rolls on, and with it come the wolves. Enter the Hells Angels, that global behemoth spawned in 1948 California, their winged skull terrorizing continents. In New South Wales, their Sydney chapter had been sniffing opportunity in the Hunter Valley, a gold mine of endless highways and shadowy economy. By 2025, their hunger was insatiable. Absorb, conquer, turn the valley into their empire. And the prime target? That Horseshoe Bend clubhouse, a 65-year monument to gladiator steel. Local whispers spoke of sly maneuvers, Hells Angels lurking in Newcastle pubs, poaching strays from smaller crews, murmuring vows of muscle and shelter.
For days and nights, the cars I passed.
But no one braced for the strike so bold, so savage. It was like a chrome and leather tsunami crashing an ancient citadel. Why then? Because the Hells Angels eyed the gladiators not just as foes, but as a crown jewel. Swallowing Australia's first one-percenter would be like planting their flag atop the Bikie Everest. The Hunter Valley, with its sprawling freeways and underground hustle, was the ultimate stake. Yet the gladiators, etched with history in every mark, weren't easy meat. They stood for something deeper, the raw Australian heartland. Steelworkers and speedway legends, not Sydney imports bloated with bravado. Let's go minute by minute on July 23rd, 2025, the day everything changed. It starts around 9:45 a.m. Residents on Portland Street report a low rumble like distant thunder. By 9:55, the first Harleys appear. Blacked out, no plates visible, riders in full colors. Local shop owners pull down shutters. A mother walking her kid to school freezes as 20, then 30, then 50 bikes line up outside the clubhouse. At 10:02 a.m., the gates crash open. Masked Hells Angels, balaclavas, gloves, some with baseball bats, storm in. Inside, only a handful of gladiators are present. The caretaker, 2 prospects, and a senior member having coffee. They're outnumbered 10-1. The takeover is clinical. One gladiator later tells the Newcastle Herald, "They didn't ask, they ordered. Patch over or leave. My vest was on the table in 30 seconds." Documents are burned in a metal drum out back. Membership lists, ride logs, decades of history, trophies from the 1980s Speedway era are smashed. A 1960s Gladiator banner, hand-stitched by a founder's wife, is torn down and stomped on. By 10:15, the Hells Angels president for the Hunter region, a towering figure known only as Prez, stands on a table and declares, "This is our house now." Phones are confiscated. One gladiator tries to film. His phone is crushed under a boot. Outside, locals film from windows. Arms crossed, while smoke rises from the backyard fire. By 10:30, the first police car arrives, but it's just one patrol. The officer radios for backup, but Raptor Squad is 40 minutes away. In that gap, the Hells Angels load up memorabilia into saddlebags. Old photos, plaques, even the bar's neon Gladiators MC sign. A neighbor calls 000. There's 50 Bikies taking over the clubhouse. By 11 a.m., the siege is over. The Hells Angels ride out in formation, leaving 3 gladiators zip-tied to chairs. One has a split lip, another is shaking. The third, the senior member, stares at the ashes of the burned banner and says nothing. Police arrive at 11:12. They cut the ties, take statements, but no arrests. The Hells Angels are gone. The clubhouse is theirs, for now. But this wasn't random. Sources in the Bikie world say the Hells Angels had been planning this for 6 months. They'd recruited 2 former gladiators who'd left over internal disputes. One was promised a sergeant-at-arms role. The other wanted revenge after being demoted. They fed intel, guard rotations, alarm codes, even where the spare keys were hidden. The Hells Angels used classic OMCG tactics. Isolate, intimidate, absorb. It's the same playbook they used in Queensland in 2013 when they patched over the Black Uhlans. But Maitland isn't Brisbane. This is Gladiator country. The community reacts fast, but the gladiators don't wait for petitions. By 2 p.m., word reaches Nomads and Lone Wolves chapters. Phones light up. "They took our house," one gladiator texts. The reply, "We're coming." By nightfall, Allied riders are on the road from Sydney, Tamworth, even Queensland. The Hells Angels celebrate at a Newcastle pub, but they don't know the storm is building. This hostile takeover wasn't just about territory. It was symbolic warfare. The clubhouse isn't just a bar, it's a museum. Inside, photos of the 1960 founding crew, trophies from the Maitland Speedway Grand Prix, a wall of honor with every president's name since 1960. Losing it would erase the gladiators' identity. The Hells Angels knew that. They wanted to break the spirit, not just the building. But they underestimated one thing. In Maitland, the gladiators aren't just a club, they're family. And family fights back. What came next was a whirlwind of mayhem that kept cops on edge. Hours post-storm, the Hunter Valley turned powder keg. Early buzz hinted at speeding rides, nocturnal phantoms, and then the fire. July 30th, just past 10 a.m., sirens wailed through Horseshoe Bend. A blazing car slammed the front door, hurling fireballs that licked the brick facade. NSW fire and rescue crews battled the inferno, limiting harm to the outer shell. But the signal screamed, "Payback." Almost 30 firefighters and 7 trucks rushed the scene on Portland Street, dousing flames that could have swallowed the whole shrine. A 63-year-old man, nabbed on site by Port Stephens Hunter Police, hit the hospital under watch with minor injuries. He faces malicious fire damage charges. Court date September 17th in Maitland local court. The crime scene locked down for forensic digs. But doubts lingered. Newcastle Herald sources probe potential linked shots, though police hold back, merely noting ongoing lines of inquiry. A vengeful gladiator, a raging ally, or darker, a Hell's Angels clampdown on revolt. The whole valley held its breath. This wasn't isolated. It heralded a turf war that could pepper quiet suburbs with lead. Sources whispered the Hells had burned documents during their raid and even fired shots inside, fueling the retaliation. The air reeked of scorched rubber and unresolved rage. As smoke curled skyward, the system's riposte was swift. The Raptor Squad North, that elite state crime command dagger honed to dismantle outlaw threats, sliced in with surgical strike. Right after the blaze, they dropped 27 public safety orders. PSOs, barring clubhouse entry for 72 hours. No mere timeout. It was a legal barricade to chill the boil, packing weapon sweeps, bail strings, and no violence edicts like Damocles blades over every head. Cops threw up checkpoints on key arteries, frisking rides and folks, nailing bike flaws as covers to rummage trunks stuffed with whispers. The Raptor Squad, fresh off January 2025's Goulburn bus, snagging banned arms, and February's Canberra run, finding 50 Hells Angels while cuffing 2 for drugs and unlicensed driving, meant business. Acting Superintendent Virginia Gorman, their lead, spelled it out. We won't ease up on outlaw motorcycle groups. These PSOs didn't just stall the surge. They staked claim, echoing New South Wales' 2009 anti-Bikie statutes that brand clubs criminal entities. A lead weight label. In September, Raptor's South Coast raids netted 11 arrests from Hells Angels affiliates, seizing replica firearms and steroids after a Huskisson brawl. Proof the squad's pressure cooker was on full blast. The matter from the fire, straight to Raptor for deep dives, turning whispers into warrants. But while the law played referee, the Gladiators weren't waiting on blue lights. They called in the cavalry. While Hells Angels savored their short-lived win, Gladiators didn't sulk in silence. Bolstered by heavy hitter pals, the Nomads and Lone Wolves, Australia's grizzled, revered relics, they spun a solidarity web the Angels never sniffed. October 2025 leaks. Via local rags like the Daily Telegraph and YouTube breakdowns from Grid Sparta, detail a masterful reclaim on October 13th after 75 days of enforced shutdown. Gladiators retook Horseshoe Bend. No slugs this round, but cunning. Maitland Council backing via zoning and admin maneuvers, greenlighting checks deeming the spot secure and rightfully theirs. The city fathers, nudged by public sentiment viewing Gladiators as local lore. The nation's eldest 1%er, Speedway spawned in Maitland 1960, stepped up to restore equilibrium. Masterstroke, Hells Angels, laid bare by their bully rush, slunk off humiliated, their hunter push stalled cold. Footage from local press shows brothers striding back in. Patches high, the Gladiator emblem fluttering like a battle flag won anew. Allies from Nomads, those nomadic enforcers who've clashed with the best, and Lone Wolves, the solitary pack with deep hunter roots, formed a human shield that no Hell's crew dared test. It was brotherhood over brute force, turning a siege into a statement. If this showdown's got you gripping the bars, smelling scorched rubber and siren wails, Crime Street's your haven. We unpack not just facts, but the human throb. Betrayals stab, loyalties blaze. Subscribe for more, cause each drop drags you into these feuds like roadhouse yarns over brews. Spilling what headlines skip. Now pause and ponder the ripple. This wasn't a spat over bricks. It was an outlaw ecosystem quake. The Gladiators, with 65 years scars, proved heritage trumps brute rush. Born 1960 from those Speedway pioneers. That wild sport Johnny Hoskins hauled to Maitland Showground in 1923. Birthing Aussie icons, they pulse with down-under defiance. They endured 2014's teardown, Cops smashing their inner bar yet unearthing zilch illicit, just a club's seething resolve. In 2015, caretaker Scott Andrews caught flack for contraband. A handcuff set, butterfly knife, lone round, but walked on a good behavior bond, underscoring law nips but can't crush gladiators. In 2012, with Vandercroft bleeding and Cessnock from slugs, the club didn't crumble. It hardened, staging bike spectacles drawing crowds, affirming freedom's a shared growl. The Hells Angels? They rolled in with worldwide gears, post-war California spawn, Aussie foothold in the 70s. But 2025's New South Wales arm was a ravenous raider. They'd tangled before, the 2009 Sydney airport melee claiming associate Anthony Zervas, or Peter Zervas' shootout that year. But here, they misread the soil. Their go-to playbook, asset grabs for symbolism, forced patchovers to hollow foes, flopped against Gladiator walls. Cops via PSOs and sweeps like September's South Coast Haul nabbing 11 for gun fakes and gear. Clipped their flight. Raptor monitored mega runs like February's Canberra pullover finding 50. Cuffing 2. Who truly triumphed? Gladiators reclaimed their stronghold. Pioneer tale unscathed. Cops drew lines. Raptor as tireless sentinel. Yet the book's open. Reddit locals howl. Gladiators are Maitland birthright. Australia's oldest. Hells, just invaders. Strains linger. Angels rebound? Spike to joint jaunts or fresh PSOs? Rumors swirl of a unity ride for gladiators and allies, patches side by side through the hunter. But anti-Bikie laws might shunt it to laxer turf like the ACT. The fire's embers? Still probe, with that 63-year-old facing the bench. Balance, precarious as a wheelie on black ice. Amid this loyalty trader vortex where a clubhouse outvalues bullion and a patch seals blood vows, lessons echo like night engines. Recall those 1960 founders, hunkered in a smoky shed, dreaming boundless blacktop. They couldn't foresee their pact-inspiring eras, nor clashing titans like Hell's Angels, their global web of gyms, ink, security fronts, laundering grime. Gladiators kept local, untainted, valley cruises. Bike bashes knitting kin, not just fighters. Their ethos, loyalty, honor, no bows, saved them. Like 2002 Grafton when Prez Stephen Gardner faced Chinese rifle wraps in a locker. But defense framed him pawn to a bro. Club enduring. Now widened to public following. This feud spilled beyond Horseshoe Bend. It splashed national ink. Daily Telegraph to YouTube. Hell's Angels storm gladiators, racking views like tank fuel. Folks, gripped and spooked, watched July raid balloon to days later blaze. Rained by PSOs hourly. Went viral. Maitland Mercury Facebook posts with thousands thumbs. Reddit rants on gladiators as legacy or peril. Cop comeback. Textbook. Raptor, post-February Canberra. Cuffs, tickets, 30 vehicle leagues. Proved states sleepless. September South Coast raids netted 11 pops, gun mods, roids. Hell's expansion slamming legal bricks. But let's meet the faces, the flesh underpatches. Gladiators, mostly ghosts. But Vandercroft's 2012 Bullet Shadow looms resilient. Or Andrews' 2015, courting for a blade. Striding tall. Hell's Angels, faceless in the raid, but global shade. From 65 Bass Lake with Hunter S. Thompson to 2025 jaunts, casts them timeless hunters. Raptor, Gorman, her relentless squeeze, the foil. Public's bulwark against anarchy, delve the playbook. Cause decoding ops shows why gladiators held. Hell's Angels, symbolism pros, zeroed the clubhouse's prize. Horseshoe Bend's no mere mortar, 65 years saga. Maitland Library lore tying Speedway to rogue births. Owning it rewrote lore. we rule now. Patchover ploys, forcing hue swaps or boots, are OMCG war staples, seen in Comanchero Bandido clashes, but bombed. Gladiators, nomad-backed, battle-scarred vets, lone wolves, lone but lethal. Forged an alliance wall, dousing further jabs. Cops, PSOs in tow, played ref, fair, but iron. These edicts, crafted to de-escalate sans trial drags. Barred doors, tagged curfews, weapon audits lingering weeks. Broader, they slot New South Wales OMCG Crusade, Hell's Criminal Tag in Queensland, 2011 New South Wales bids. Outcome, shaky truce. Gladiators throned anew, angels retreated. State earning street cred for averting all-out blaze. Future, unity ride buzz. Gladiators allies plotting mega cruise through Hunter. Patches shoulder to shoulder, old guard fealty versus overlords. Anti-Bikie code snag. Maybe ACT shift, laxer there. But intent rings, brotherhood endures. Clubhouse. Post-July 30th raid lock, October unlock, but council eyes peel. Big picture, this yarn spotlights eternal grind. Roots versus sprawl. Gladiators, 1960 Australia's pioneer OMCG, embody local revolt, speedway brotherhood pure. Hell's Thompson 60s chronicle to 2025. Romps, mask empire greed as rebel yell. Public laps 3-act visuals, raid, blaze, retake, with anchor dates hooking hard. And wrapping this wild ride, the core lingers. In outlaw realms, fidelity floors avarice, chronicle crushes clout. Gladiators didn't just snag a skirmish, they etched that true renegades don't yield. Lasting calm or fresh gale, asphalt decides, but front row when it blows. Crime Street delivers unvarnished, like a road dog spilling guarded gems over pints. Subscribe, bell on. Join the crew who get crimes not shade lurking. It's tales binding us. On Crime Street we all ride, long as the roar holds.